Hello everyone. I'll be talking today about Virtual Observatory as an educational tool. This is work that has been done by me along with Hasan at the Maulana Azad National Urdu University, which is located in Hyderabad, India. Now we live in an era of multi-wavelength astronomy. Various ground-based and space-based surveys ranging from gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet, optical, infrared to radio bands has brought astronomy into a big data era. Astronomy data is already amounting to petabytes and increasing with the advent of new instruments. Astronomy has now evolved from a hypothesis driven to from a data poor to a data rich science, which is more data driven. So we know that there's a lot of astronomy data already available. If you look at the DPOS survey, it was only 3 terabytes of data. 2MAS was 10 terabytes. Galaxies with 30 terabytes. Sloan Digital Sky Survey with 40. Then the Vera Rubin Observatory, which will soon be operational, is going to be delivering 14 terabytes per day. And then the LSST, which would be 200 petabytes. And then the Square Kilometer Array. So essentially what we know is that there's going to be a lot of data, or rather there is a lot of data in astronomy already available, where major discoveries can be data related more than hypothesis related. And based on this very concept, we proposed projects which were based on astronomy data. So the story starts with the pandemic, when the IAU, Office for Astronomy for Development, actually announced a call for COVID-related projects. And that's when we proposed a project called Astronomy from Archival Data, which was basically about training students to use high-quality astronomy data from various facilities and actually analyze that to get important results. And when we announced this thing, the response we got was colossal. This was 2020. We had about 915 participants from 23 different countries all over the world, which was clearly an indicator that this is something the students actually want. Now, our team is 2 of us, who I am a professor in astronomy and physics, while SN Hasan is a professor in mathematics and astronomy at the Maulana Azad University. We've been doing a lot of work in astronomy outreach as well as education. And therefore, this was something very close to our heart. Now, what was the modus operandi? This started with the pandemic, like I told you. So it was with virtual teaching, and it now was a serious option to consider. We had to design the website, maintain it, interact through social media, contact with Telegram, email, feedbacks. And what we did is, to have our project, we had a variety of speakers. We were speaking about the topics that we knew. But other than that, we had Mark Taylor, who's done TopCat, Sushan Konar, Ruisa Ribul, Bruno Menin, Deborah Baines, Tim Hamilton, Ajit Kembhavi, and quite a few other names mentioned over here of people who actually were with us in this. So we had lectures from various speakers who actually proposed different kinds of projects that the students could get involved in. Now, it was done in 3 phases. This is 2020. So the first phase started off in August, where we actually had live Zoom sessions every Saturday and Sunday. This continued till November, so a 4-month period of every weekend with at least 2 hours of lectures in the morning. And they were also, either they could be lectures or interactive hands-on sessions with, like I mentioned, variety of speakers from India as well as abroad. All the sessions were recorded and posted online. So we have about 80 video recordings on YouTube. And there was a lot of lead reading material, quizzes, data sources, etc. also available to students. So students could actually attend all this material for 4 months. And because we had students from all over the world, depending on their time zone, they could, watch the videos whenever it was convenient to them. The second phase was when students actually, after November, when we finished this, when students actually selected projects and interacted with their mentors. And we had various projects. We did some of the things were just on data analysis tools. For example, using Python, AstroPy, TopCat, ESA Sky, R, machine learning, big data. And the data we used was essentially Gaia, Sloan Digital Sky Survey, HST, Kepler, TESS, etc. And we introduced students to high-level archival astronomy data, and they could actually do projects, some with the mentors as well as with us. And in February 2021, the students actually presented their projects, and all that material is available online on our website. So we have a website which has details like the sessions, reading material, quizzes, polls, etc. Software all available online. Now, some of the caveats, these were planned on Saturday, Sundays, because gradually at various places, classes had started. Even in India, students were attending regular classes on weekdays. So this could only be done on weekend. We enabled subtitles also, so that we had some students who were non-English speaking, Spanish speaking or various other languages. So the subtitles were available on YouTube, and not all who could register, they could even attend. And we had a variety of speakers. Some issues were there, like network issues or even level, how do you pitch it? So there was a slight variation in that depending upon the speakers as well as the area they discussed. All these available videos are there on YouTube, on my channel, and we have a large number of playlists, etc. available on that. So this is this thing of our website. So we had a dedicated website which actually had all the lists and the links of everything, where people could register, they could see updates, they could see details about when are the next lectures, what are the next lectures about, etc. So like I mentioned, we did various, we studied tools, which essentially meant Python, AstroPy, TopCat, Aladdin, ESA, Sky, machine learning, big data, and along with that, various data sets which were handled to handle different science problems. So we were handling things about Gaia data, essentially with stellar astrophysics, longitudinal sky survey we did with globular clusters and AGN, Kepler data looking for exoplanets. There was some magnetar pulsar data, some studies with galaxy morphology, with HSD data. And so the project got over in about 6 months. That was how it was planned in COVID times. And then the sequel to this, we applied for another project with OAD, which was called AstroSprint. And AstroSprint was actually made up of a set of 3 workshops, which we hoped would be offline, depending upon how the pandemic moved. And this was called AstroSprint, and this is the image of our website. And we actually used this to to have these 3 workshops, but the problem was the pandemic situation did not improve. We had 3 workshops to be planned: Enterprise, Discovery, and Next Gen. So Enterprise was held in March in 2021. This was online because the pandemic was showing no sign of going away. The second one was held in August. Again, this had to be online. And the third workshop, since we wanted that to be offline, strictly offline, we had to wait for quite a long time because things had not yet improved enough to actually have an offline meeting. It was kind of risky to have one. And therefore, we had to wait all the way till June. So finally, in June this year, in 2022, we had the third workshop, which was an offline meeting where we had students offline participating and speakers in hybrid mode. So this was the 3 workshops we conducted. So this is the Enterprise, the first one, which we did in March. You can see we had a variety of topics in this. Like I mentioned earlier, Gaia was done for stellar astrophysics. There was Pulsars done by Sushan. There was some amount of TopCat by Mark Taylor. This was a follow-up to what was done earlier, and therefore we were careful to see to it that none of the topics got repeated. What was already done in the earlier project, that was not repeated, and we did fresh topics. And there was some amount even on theoretical cosmology and statistics, etc., and various other topics in astronomy. After this, we had Discovery, which was in August, and again, we could not have this offline. We had to do it online, and we basically had, but by this time, we realized that students could not attend weekday classes, so we had to do it over 2 weekends, where over 2 weekends, we spent the whole day having our sessions, and people could actually attend it like that. And they started working on their projects. The final workshop was held over here in Maulana Azad University, which is here in Hyderabad. We had it in offline mode. We had to obviously take regular COVID restrictions. We had, most of the lectures were recorded and are already available online, because even what was given offline was recorded. And we had a lot of online lectures by people from MIT, from Caltech, various places. And students have been doing very good projects. Some of them have actually, they are ready for publication. They are being submitted for publications. Some of the student projects have been presented as posters in meetings. And many of the students have actually, they're obviously pursuing some kind of serious astronomy. And on the whole, the project has been very, very useful, a very good response. And we actually see that this experiment, which we tried out of using astronomy data to teach people astronomy, seemed to be a very effective tool. And so our way forward is we have been working with the education working group of the Virtual Observatory, so that we've been coordinating with them with the VO tools that we've been I've been also interacting with Intro to Astro Research. This is a group which is at UC Berkeley and mentoring students again for projects. We are Global Sky partners with the Las Cumbres Observatory, and hence we would encourage students to also use robotic telescopes to get data, and we can train them with actual data which is there from the LCO telescopes. We hope to have more access to resource persons, resources, add on to our web page, have many more workshops and possible funding to this thing. I would also put this talk as a tribute to Dr. Ratnashree, who was very enthusiastic about students doing astronomy related projects, specifically using astronomy data. And in that way, we believe that students can be initiated into the education process of astronomy by actually making them work with data so that they get an actual feel of the kind of data we are getting in astronomy and the kind of results we can do. So we say that that could be a very good way of giving students a good introduction to research careers as well as the kind of research they can possibly do as they. So we hope this was just the beginning and we'll still be doing many more such things. So thank you. Thanks for listening.